Welcome, Morgan.
Thank you.
My name is Susan. Today we're just doing kind of an initial introduction. We'll have about 10 minutes together. But before we really get into what's brought you here today, there's just a few things that I need to go over. I am a trainee supervised by a licensed clinical professional counselor. And what we talk about here today, generally speaking, is confidential, meaning I won't share it outside of this room. However, there are some limitations. First, if you indicate that you want to hurt yourself or others, I am mandated to report that. If you have been a victim of or are committing abuse towards a vulnerable adult, a child, any of those members of that population, that's also something I have to report. If I am subpoenaed by a court, I will try to give them as little information as possible, of course, but I am required to provide as much as they request. And then lastly, if you would like a copy of your information from this just to be released for reasons that could be legal or otherwise, you're free to request that.
Okay.
So now, what brought you here today?
Well, thank you for telling me that. I've actually been to therapy before, so I've heard it, but it's good to have that reiterated. So thank you.
Oh, and just let me know if you have any questions as well.
Of course, yeah. No, I think I'm pretty clear on that. I'm here today because I had a baby 3 months ago.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm one of the first people in my friend group to have a child. A lot of my friends actually have decided they're not going to have children at all. I am 35, so I'm not exactly like a young new mom.
Right.
But yeah, I have just been spending a lot of time by myself with the baby. I'm on leave. I typically work in a marketing position where I have a lot of people that are working under me, and it's a very stimulating job, very fast paced. And now everything is slowed way down. Yeah. So, I've just definitely been feeling lonely.
Okay.
And that's been a little bit hard because it's a new sensation and definitely a different type of transition than I've ever experienced before.
Right. So it sounds like there's just something completely different happening in your life, and you don't have the support that you had before, or you don't feel as though you've had that support since your friends have all decided not to have children or not interested at this moment. Does that sound right?
Yes, I think I would say I do have a strong support system in that I have a lot of friends and family around, but I would say that they don't understand what I'm going through.
Okay.
Is probably the most truthful way to put it.
All right. So, what goes through your mind when you think that your friends and your family won't understand?
I think that until you have experienced having a child and going through all of that, but I mean, just on a very basic level, the hormonal shifts. I think talking to another woman who has not had that experience feels like even if they are very empathetic, like it feels like they kind of are downplaying what I'm feeling, because in their mind, like, it couldn't possibly be as difficult because I had a very healthy pregnancy. I'm healthy now. My baby is healthy. Everything is on the surface going very well and to plan. It was a planned pregnancy, and so I think for them, they just can't. And when I think back to when I didn't have children and somebody would describe, like maybe a coworker would describe having a hard time, I think that I didn't give them as much empathy as I could have because I just didn't get it, and now I have experienced it. So
as you were talking about, like on the surface, everything is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Deep inside, though, it sounds like you're telling yourself everything should be okay, but it's not. So, if you were to describe how feeling okay would be, what would that look like?
I think that I will need to just get through some of these changes,
Mm-hmm.
like in terms of my body changing, in terms of the hormones regulating, and I mean, just things as simple as like starting my cycle again,
Mm-hmm.
so that you start. But I think that what I really need to do, which I have been putting off, is start interviewing help childcare. And
It's a big step.
yes, and since I'm now full-time home with the baby,
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to imagine, even though I desperately would like to have time and I'm excited to go back to work.
Yeah.
It's also hard to imagine like who would be the right fit. And I'm sort of letting the perfect be the enemy of the good,
Mm-hmm.
I think, in that respect,
Yeah.
because I'm thinking, oh well, like I don't need someone every day, or I don't like, I'm just not pulling the trigger, so to speak, I guess,
Right.
on it starting the interviewing people.
Okay.
So I think that is like a big step that I need so that I can feel more relaxed to pursue other things.
So the goal going forward is trying to create more space for yourself, separate from being the mother of a newborn baby.
Yes, just space for myself and time where I can achieve things with knowing I won't be interrupted, and knowing that the baby is totally safe, and also not relying on like friends or family, because then there can be like a bit of a guilt complex with that, where you're like, even if they say you're good for 3 hours, you're kind of thinking like, I know that they probably have something later, and if I were to hire somebody, that would not be on my mind. We'd have very like cut and dry rules and responsibilities there.
Okay, so I'm hearing that goal for yourself is to create more time, and yet you previously mentioned that you've been putting off hiring someone. Does that sound like, tell me what goes through your mind when I say that?
Yes, I mean that's definitely true. I've been putting it off because I know that it's going to be difficult to find like the right fit, so I'm probably going to have to go through some wrong fits first. I mean, who knows, maybe the first person you meet could be perfect, but it typically is like a pretty lengthy process, and I think it's just a little bit daunting, and I sometimes do tend to procrastinate a little bit with things like that. So like I'm pretty good about not procrastinating with a lot of things, but when it comes to something that's like way out of my experience zone, I tend to kind of put it off and like think about it a lot. So I'll like analyze and not actually just make the call. Right. And once you make the call, then it starts to feel a little bit easier, but I think I have been having trouble getting to that place.
And you've talked about your support. You feel as though you have a good support system.
I feel like I have a good support system in that I have friends and family who I'm close with, who I feel like I can rely on, in terms of like if there was ever something that came up, like if there was an issue at the house and we had to leave for the night, I definitely have like a friend's house where I could go stay if we had to have the house fumigated or like something random like that, you know.
Right, yeah.
So I feel like I am lucky in that I do have like literal support systems in place, but in terms of emotional support, I think that's a big reason why I'm here. Is because I feel like I am not able to talk to them in a totally honest way, and I don't necessarily feel understood. So yeah.
Well, I just want to let you know we have a couple minutes left in our session today, and you distinguished specifically between emotional support versus the physical support side of a friend lets you come over to their house. And even with that physical support side, you mentioned potentially having a guilt complex.
Mm-hmm.
Like you, even if you know you could,
Yes.
you wouldn't want to.
Yes.
Is there, or tell me about if in your childhood,
Yeah.
when, if you ever had a friend that made you feel guilty for playing with them or not playing with them, or any situation that's similar?
I would say in terms of like friendships, I don't have too many memories of that.
Okay.
But in terms of my relationship with my parents, my parents were definitely big helpers in the community and like in their relationships, and they've definitely like made that a priority in their parenting to make sure that we knew that we had to be helpers as well, but not ask for help.
I see.
So that was definitely a part of how I was raised. It was like you have to be independent and take care of things on your own, and don't expect anybody to help you. But so I think overextending myself because of that comes pretty naturally.
Yeah. Sounds like that's a big value your parents held and probably you hold now as well. And moving forward, I would like to dive into a little more about why you feel that's a value that you either hold dear or should maybe re-examine, and hopefully I'll be able to provide you this emotional support during this transition in your life.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was very nice to meet you.
Yes, and thank you.